Welcome to the Fantasy Happy Hour. Fantasy Happy Hour. Presented by Sportsneak. With your hosts, Justin Sauce and Terry Licious. Starting in 3, 2, 1.
Boom. Here we go. Week 8. Fantasy Happy Hour. We're coming back to you. We're approaching 90 episodes on the season. Episode 86 or 87, not too sure. But we got the 4-3 Baltimore Ravens versus the 3-4 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Buccaneers coming off a miserable loss to the Carolina Panthers, who were Christian McCaffrey-less and Chuba Hubbard RB1. Hometown guy right there. And the Ravens coming off a big win, 23-20 versus the Cleveland Browns, giving them another L to give my Texans hopefully one better shot at a higher draft pick this year. Taryn, run us through this Thursday night episode here.
Yeah, well, this is a team in disarray. Tom Brady's going through some personal issues there that we all kind of know about, I think, at this point. But they looked bad, real bad. Like, a lot of dropped passes, just nothing going right on offense, losing to a Carolina team that is in full rebuild mode. I mean, they couldn't be giving away more of their pieces if possible. I mean, Robbie Anderson gone, McCaffrey gone. Right now, their defense is playing great all season, even though they, are a bad team. They are playing good defense, so that's kind of what happened. They solved that problem. Last week, we commented on my naming ability, so I'm going to work with my Barati and Lamar Jackson here this week. So we got two good quarterbacks going against each other, but Ravens is a team that's just won by very minimal margins. So they've had some real close games all season long. So this is a team that's, keeping it tight. And this is two teams who could have a great game here. The defenses on both sides haven't been playing what they usually are. These are usually two teams who build around their defense a lot, but not so much this year. So I think we could see another game similar to last week, except probably less defensive touchdowns, which kind of made that game a huge total. Both these teams are leading their division still, technically, so that's something to comment on because they're 3-4. Bucks are still leading with the tie break there. That division's bad. And then the Ravens are tied with, I think it's the Bengals now, so they're going to be jawing it out all season. We go to quarterback. We got the ageless Tom Brady, who outside of last week hasn't been bad. I think last week was a bit of an anomaly, but Evans dropped a basically free 60-something yard touchdown that was right in his hands, and he just bobbled it going to the end zone. So he could have a much bigger day. So I think that a lot of that came from receiver product. And this is a Ravens D ranked 26th against the pass. They have given it up to 200-yard receivers that game in week 2. So this team doesn't really have much on the back end. So I think this is a good spot for him to bounce back. I think he's certainly in play. He did talk about this team needs this primetime spot to kind of get their act together. I think Aaron Rodgers said the same thing coming up this week. So there's two big teams that need this spot to really, put some pressure on them, start performing again. So I think this could be a Brady spot that could go really well. Lamar Jackson on the other side, Bucks D, average all season. He is the fantasy play in this game. They don't use many people. He threw 16 times last week. So weapons wise, he's kind of stackable on his own. This is like a run first, offense outside of Mark Andrews. So I think Lamar is the guy you kind of need to play on the Ravens because he's the majority of their offense, minus maybe the running back there last week that got in twice. But I think overall, these are two quarterbacks that are definitely both playable, probably the best weapons on their team. Brady spreads the ball so much, but then Lamar doesn't throw the ball. So you got two different ways of getting a lot of points. So they're kind of the best weapon on both their teams. Running back, Fournette, usage all year has been great. I think last week, again, getting beat as bad as they did, he didn't get the usage you want to see. So a lot of people might see that as a biased way to, move off of him. But he's great stacking with Tom Brady as well. He catches a lot through the air. He's getting the usage outside of last week. He's averaging about 25 carry touches, I should say, a game. Still averages 17.9 DK points per game. I think he's very stackable with Brady, which has been a common theme of winning lineups this season in Showdown, is stacking the running back with the quarterback. Last Sunday night, we saw Tua and Raheem Mostert be both in the winning lineup. So, definitely look for those passing running backs when Fournette is one of them. I just pronounced his name wrong. And then on the other side, it's kind of led by a committee. J.K. Dobbins is out. So you have the Gus bus taking over, Gus Edwards. He kind of took over last, and he's the most downhill runner. He's been there for a lot of seasons. They have a lot of trust in him. Typically, you don't want to attack the Tampa Bay Buccaneers run D, but last week we saw Chuba and Deontay Foreman go for, I think, almost 200 yards combined, a little more maybe. This was a defense that was giving it up on the ground, 2 60-yard runs, I think, or a 60 and a 40 between the two of them. But this is a downhill committee style running attack from the Ravens. So what you have to look at is, how do you think this game's going to go? Gus is if they're in the lead, he's going to be running the ball more. He's downhill. He's through the tackles. Justice Hill is their best pass blocker. Plus he's also their best pass catching running back. So if they're trailing, you're going to see a lot more of him. And then Drake's the wild card. He was great one game, and now it looks like he's gotten taken over by Gus Edwards and Justice Hill. So I don't know where he's going to be. He might be that sneaky play that we just don't know. So I think how you think this game goes depends which running back you take on this side. But I still think Lamar's the best runner here. So he's going to probably get more running yards than all three of them combined. So I think he's still the better play in that regard. Wide receivers, it looks like Julio Jones is probably unlikely. I mean, he might play. Gage is getting an MRI today, so we're not sure of that news, but I imagine short week, both of them probably won't play. So I'm kind of working on that assumption. But Evans and Godwin are back, and they're both healthy against a very weak Ravens pass D. So this could be a great spot for both of them. We know Brady trusts certain people, but with Evans dropping the ball last week, I actually do think I like Godwin more. They tend to work on a trust scale, and Brady tends to, attack a certain receiver a lot in certain drives. Evans is still your most likely to get in the end zone because they do use him mostly in the red zone and on those fade routes to the corner. But I really like going to Godwin here, more trusting, especially this week. And then on the Ravens side, this has got to be one of the hardest things to pick. The wide receivers just don't get used. I mean, the usage, 18 throws last week, of which I think half went to tight ends, and a handful went to running backs. So I mean, you're seeing maybe 5 targets at your peak for any of these wide receivers. Rashad Bateman's the obvious one, and Devin Duvernay. Those are the two that kind of get targets. Everybody else is going to get 1 probably at most. But this is a team that works more with its tight ends and running game than their wide receivers. So you got to catch the touchdown with these receivers because they're usually not going to see big yardage. The only time Bateman and Duvernay got, big points this season was on long touchdowns. So if they don't get that long touchdown, you're not going to see them probably be in the winning lineup. So that would be my thoughts here, because when you move to tight end, this is where the Ravens funnel all of their usage. I mean, Mark Andrews is the guy. If he's playing, he's likely going to be the best stacking option with Lamar. He averages 17.3 DK points. He was there last week, but kind of hurt. Only got 1 carry, and it was a rushing carry. Missed both his targets. So he is the guy that's going to get volume here, though. And this is a Bucs D where the tight end position is a little better to target overall. I also like his backups. Both, Josh Oliver and Isaiah Likely. These are kind of, hope they get their 1 or 2 targets, and one of those is a touchdown. So they're kind of cheaper options I do like. They play more tight end packages here with being such a run heavy offense. So, I mean, I think all 3 are in play, but Mark Andrews is, of course, the most likely to have a blow up game. And then on the other side, Cade Otton has taken over here at the tight end position for the Bucs. Passing duties with Brait. Brait's been out. He might be back this week. I do not think he takes fully over, though. Cade Otton's playing 94% of the snaps now, averaging 5 targets in his last 4 games, and he's just playing great as a rookie. I think he's kind of the guy that's got the trust of Brady now. I think he's going to stick around for a while. So I think he's playable, and he's usually a little cheaper than everybody else in this lineup. But if Brait's back, he is, there's a chance he gets a TD. That's where he's used the most, but he's never a high point guy. He's usually 1 or 2 targets and maybe a touchdown. I don't like the defenses as much in this game. I just don't think they're playing well enough either side. But I think I'm going to pass it because these are 2 great kickers. So pass it to Justin Sauce. This is a spot for kickers, I think.
Well, first off, let's just touch back on the Baltimore Ravens here. I think if you're going to look at a backup tight end, Isaiah is the likely option. Perfect. And then touching on Brait, if he is coming back, $1,200 on DK, dirt cheap. That'd be a high risk, high reward one though. If he does come back, because as you said, looks like Otten's taken the spot there, and he's at $7,500, so not even that cheap either. Going over to the kickers though, we got first on the TB side, Ryan Succop, however you want to say it, $5,700. These kickers are tight on fantasy points this year. 9.4 for Ryan here. He's on his pace to have a career best for kicking accuracy, 16 for 17 on field goals, 54 longer here, huge long one. But where I see the risk in playing him is if the Bucs offense doesn't do anything. He's only had, I think, 2 games where he's got over 10 fantasy points. So at the price point and with your other options, I mean, he could be a great choice, but you really have to hope that TB12 and the offense are putting them in a position to actually score and not just do nothing out there. Because that could be a tough call if you're doing that. Because at least you can get your points on the catches throughout the game. The other ways, we know with kickers, you need to be getting in scoring position. On the other side, though, we got Justin Tucker, who I am saying in all the games this season, if there's a kicker to pick, he is the mortal lock to pick as a kicker. 10.4 fantasy points per game, $6,000 on DK, 14 for 15. 5 of those are over 50 yarders, which is massive. That's 5 points each. And the one he missed was a 50-yarder that went off the upright, bad bounce, bad luck. He should be perfect. 4 for 7 of his games, he's exceeded 10 fantasy points, which is great for showdown. He's just that secure option you should take. I'm saying Justin Tucker, you must draft him this week. If you think Bucs offense is going to go off on the other side, feel free, add Ryan into those other lineups. Don't put him in all of them. I could confidently say I would put Justin Tucker in every lineup for this week. He's that good. Best kicker in the NFL by far. Anything else to add in, Taryn, for this Thursday night showdown?
No, I threw together a quick high-end, low-end favorite captain for this showdown, so I just thought I'd run that. I kind of touched on it above, but Chris Godwin on the Bucs side, I think this is a game for him. And then on the high end of the other side, Lamar is just the play at all points to me. He can go for 100 yards rushing, which is automatically going to put him well above. On the low end for the Bucs, I like Cade Otton. He has had, 70-yard games, 5, receptions. If he gets in the end zone, that's a great line. It gets you all the other high-priced guys. And then, as you just touched on, I think Justin Tucker is a great captain choice for the other side. 250-yarders and maybe one other one. He's going to get to that 15-point margin, which is
let me reiterate here. He is the lock to put in all of your lineups at that price point. When you're struggling to fit people in, there's a lot of high priced over 10,000, 9,000 priced players in this. JT, he's bringing kicking back. Let's go.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Perfect. Well, we appreciate everyone watching. You guys have been crushing the showdown Thursday nighters here. We're 2 subscribers away from 250. I think we lost one this morning. Tough luck for the kids. Must be your pronunciation.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you like it, let us know who you're taking in the comments below. Give us a thumbs up. It really helps the video. And if you guys enjoy the fantasy football content and sports content in general, give us a subscribe. We would really appreciate it. And we'll see you all next week for week 9. I think we got Texans and Eagles. So we'll be firing on all cylinders on that one. Yeah. See you guys later. Peace.